when it's the end of the world and you focus your efforts on rebuilding the old church. Really obvious CGI.
What the hell are you doing?
Scaring the birds away.
These two come up with a genuinely good idea as to how to keep the birds away from eating all of their crops, and Daryl just comes along and kills it for no reason, basically being a massive dick. Also though, his whole deal has always been collecting the arrows that he fires, which gave him a seemingly infinite supply, but now he's just straight up not even bothering anymore, and so might as well switch to a firearm in all honesty. Also guys and gals, if you want to see more Everything Wrong with The Walking Dead, be sure to like this video and leave a comment. Any support on Patreon would be nice too, as I'm spending probably 10 hours writing, recording and editing these videos just for you all, as most of my revenue comes from my other channels, so it's very much appreciated if you can help out. Also quickly, if you're curious as to why I'm back doing these, I've had a lot of people say they dislike TV Sins videos from the past 2 years and honestly prefer mine, so I figured I'd come back in my free time and entertain y'all. And now let's get back into it.
You teach me sometime? I got a kids class at the Hilltop you could audit. Maggie will be there. Carol sometimes shows up when she's in town.
Did he just say he can audit the class he teaches kids when he asked if he could teach him to kick up high? Also, bruh, not gonna lie, it's incredibly cringe that Jesus is going around kicking them, like it's so obvious he wants to show off, as opposed to taking them out in the most easy method possible, that being using a bladed weapon. I love how they're all clearly using horses and stuff in order to remain pretty quiet while in a city, and then you got big bad boy Daryl being all like, ah hell no, I need my incredibly noisy motorbike with a finite amount of petrol or whatever they use. So I mentioned this in my Red Hot Garbage video, which by the way I took down as YouTube got really up on the whole censorship or else we won't give you any ad revenue thing, and so I'll say the same thing here. This intro just looks plain awful, I genuinely believe that. It's just horrible CGI and looks like a terrible video game near the end. For some unknown reason, Carol was unable to take this one out.
This is gonna work.
Having seen this episode about a year or so ago when I made the previously mentioned series, I'm now left genuinely pondering what the this actually is that's going to work in her mind. Because they never used this building for anything that she's peering at, she didn't know if they had the gear they were looking for there, and she also didn't know what kind of wagon they'd find and if they would even be able to get it outside. But of course, if in a later episode it turns out she uses this place for something, if I remember, I'll remove the sin. Basement Ninja Walker! They stay really silent and they act real quick. They don't make sense because they should react to sound. Basement Ninja Walker!
You were right, Anne.
How'd you know to find seats here? Brought my class back when I was teaching.
And yet she never decided to go there before now and collect those very useful seats because...
Is he still sore about the results? He's being friendly. It's weird, honestly.
Because friendly and weird are strangely synonymous.
So far, so good.
So I got a couple sins here that I pointed out during the last video. First and foremost, they really don't have to go this way across the glass, like the longest possible route over it. They could have easily gone directly to the left or the right. Secondly, this glass was designed in spite of however many years have passed to be able to hold thousands of kilograms of weight from throngs of visitors, and thus an old wooden cart with metal wheels wouldn't be enough to break it. That's just plain old silly. At this stage, it would be the sheer height of stupidity for Carol to remain pushing it from the rear when you can easily step off the glass and continue to pull it off, and I feel like no one would do this in real life. Yet another double sin because I forgot about this, but why wouldn't Daryl and Rick just place the wooden canoe over the edge of the stairs where it's perfectly safe? And also, why on earth are Carol and the King walking around on the middle of the glass like it's so difficult to wait off of it for Rick and Daryl to finish with the canoe?
Hey.
Last but not least, they could have very easily also put that piece of equipment over the edge of the staircase, and my god, they're dumb in this. I swear to god, it hurts my brain a little bit. I've got some blood coming from my nose. It's nuts. Honestly, I'm shocked how no one has ever mentioned the bike and how noisy it is, especially since it is ultimately what may have brought the horde upon them in a few minutes' time, and yet it's never even brought up.
2 other herds merged into Sylvia, so now it's even bigger. One of them came through here in the back end, took down the bridge.
The notion that that bridge was brought down by any amount of walkers standing on it is hilarious.
Maggie, I think they need a break.
They decide that in order to move this wagon, that they'll remove the horses that were pulling it and instead pull it themselves. Like, I get that the horses are tired, but wouldn't you give them an assist in getting it free of the mud, given that even tired horses will still pull something heavy like that way easier than a human can?
We're almost there.
One more time. 1, 2, 3.
In spite of there not being that many walkers in sight, and easily a number which they've taken down numerous times in the past, they begin to panic and ignore them, concentrating instead on the wagon. Even worse than this, which I won't send separately but instead will include in this one, is that when they fail soon and the lad gets stupidly bitten and kicked by his horse, they then go and kill them all anyway.
I got a free hurt. Kid, wait!
Rick is awkwardly late in his shouting after this kid, which you'd think he'd yell urgently about, given how a walker must have been a mere 6 to 8 feet away from where he was running to, given how quickly he's grabbed. Also though, this kid fails to notice that same walker, and maybe go to the other side of the horse to free it. Like, you can't not notice it. It's in the middle of a giant empty path. Also though, he gets his arm grabbed and then physically holds it out for the walker to bite. Like, imagine something grabbed your arm. The first thing you do is yank it away, but he literally continues holding it up. It's so unrealistic, it physically injures me. Ugh! I can let it go to a small degree when they're doing this to people who've been decomposing for many years, but the idea that you can easily slide a knife into someone's neck, brain or spine or something, like you're sticking it into a cheesecake, is laughable.
You know, Gregory has been saying he's the one who's always put Hilltop first. My son is dead. Your boy has no father. And those damn saviors eat our food and take everything that Hilltop bled for.
Maggie fails to point out that that doesn't actually mean anything. It doesn't make any sense. Loads of people died while he was in charge. It's not like he ran a flawless camp where no one died. Secondly, her point would only make sense if Glenn was killed as a result of a dumb mission, which he wasn't. And thirdly, she rounds up her stupid argument by bringing into it the saviors and how they share in their food supply, even though Glenn died as a result of trying to fight that very group, to which her point was that he died senselessly. So ultimately, terrible writing right there.
Are faded and gone. No flower of her kindred.
This goes on for quite some time.
Rick Grimes is here.
That's the man that ended the war. Is Negan suffering?
Bruh, talking about him like he's not right in front of you is very bizarre.
Seeing his name on the wall, did we do the right thing? Sometimes I think maybe we just should have killed him.
But killing him wouldn't have changed anything we saw today.
Probably would have made it less likely that they'd have stuck his name on the wall asking for help, but yeah.
He's got me worried about things breaking down.
Well, he wouldn't say something unless it was important. He cares.
Too much sometimes.
How the hell are they writing this stuff? Daryl was saying that the Sanctuary is a hopeless case, that it's bound to fail, and also that he has had enough of being leader there, and wanted to go kind of be free out on the road again, and then in the next scene, they're saying he wouldn't have spoken to Rick if it wasn't important, because he cares, and Rick says, too much sometimes. He cares too much sometimes? About not wanting to be leader? About not thinking the Sanctuary will survive? What are you on about?
If he's worried, there's a reason. So what do we do about it?
I think we need to fix that bridge.
Okay, I'll get the people to agree to a charter.
Not that that has anything to do with the fixing of the bridge, but yeah, let's talk about your thing again, even though it has been a little while since it was last brought up. A light over Rick's head is extinguished when she blows out her candle.
Margaret, yes, look, God, Maggie, what happened?
I literally listened to this 3 times and I still have no idea what he said unless it's straight up mumbling.
You need to sit down. You obviously have a head injury.
You want to leave this place? You can't even murder someone, right? I'll know that you did this.
I adore how quickly he goes from, my god, you have a head injury, to die, woman! It's so funny, but so poorly done. They have a short conversation with very light insults, and he straight up tries to stab her. It's amazingly sin-worthy.
Bullshit.
You told me that soon you'd be the one following me, but you didn't. Because I wasn't someone to follow. That changes now.
Changes how? You gotta have proven in some way that you can handle a wider array. You gotta have proven in some way that you can handle a wider array of issues outside of your own camp. You can't just say the words and it becomes true. Like, what are your plans, ideas, and so on?
What you're doing isn't right. Killing me in the dead of night because you're ashamed.
She'd only be ashamed if she was doing it with like 5 people present. The time of day really has no impact whatsoever.
Maggie, stop!
No!
Rick's reaction is way too quick here. Like, it's so obviously scripted because who the hell reacts to her shouting, Maggie, stop! Within less than 1 full second? I mean, she could be yelling that out for any number of reasons, and he's meant to trust her. It's not like they've shown us numerous scenes of her saying, I'm gonna stop this execution and stuff like that, so Rick is expecting it. Nope, she stood there, says what she says, and Rick pounces on her like a bloody puma.
It's not just a bridge. Roads are the lifeblood of civilization. Rome rose and fell with its roads.
Kind of confusing to use an analogy like that, because you're saying roads are the lifeblood of a society, meaning if you don't have them, you're screwed. But then you follow it up by saying Rome rose and fell with its roads. So it fell in spite of its roads and thus its lifeblood? So kind of pointless mentioning it in that context?
Someday you'll cross this bridge with your grandchildren and tell them the story of how it was built.
I'm not gonna bore my grandkids telling them a story about a bridge.
This boring structure connects us all.
He never said the bridge itself was boring. He said he wouldn't want to bore his grandkids telling them about a bridge.
Do you think he'd ever do something like this again?
I didn't think that he'd do it the first time.
Well, you didn't hang him like you did Gregory. There must be a reason for that.
Well, I mean, he never attacked her with a weapon, just his hands, and pretty poorly at that, whereas Gregory admitted to planning the whole thing, and then attacked her with a knife, clearly with the intent to kill. So a huge difference between those 2 events, and thus the punishments.
Nice. Easy there, buddy. I'm still thirsty.
No, there's not enough. You can't.
Give me a rest, kid.
See, now in my mind, if you want us to get annoyed at this guy, make their interaction more tense. Instead, he thanks the lad, clearly doesn't look to fill his cup up all that much at all, and when he's told there's not enough, shoves him over randomly. It would make far more sense if he ignored him, took a filled cup and tried getting more. It's like they couldn't write the character's actions properly or something.
Back off!
Bullshit.
We keep doing that, they'll see we're all on the same side.
Are we, though? We on the same side, Rick.
Well, you tell me.
Thing is, man, I've been trying to. You don't seem to want to hear it.
Daryl brings up a really weird point, but then never completes it for some unknown reason, and so Rick is unable to point out that Maggie is head of Hilltop, Daryl was head of the Sanctuary, and now Carol is head there. So, like, how are the original group being somehow disenfranchised over anyone else that could lead him to question whose side Rick is on?
I don't have much, but I've still got rights. Are you going to take those away from me too?
Actually, you don't have any rights. No one has said these are your rights since the end of the world, so where are you getting your magical rights from?
Are you gonna talk to her about it?
Maggie? She'll do what she wants to do.
But what do you think?
She says, but what do you think? Like she's asked him what he thinks the first time, and she didn't.
Careless memory. I didn't mean to.
Earl, you made a mistake. You lost yourself.
One would think if she was so desperate to speak to him that she'd have just spoken to the guy via this window here.
All right,
coming! Bug out, now!
It's always amazing to me how walkers going so damn slowly always manage to gain ground so very fast. Obviously cannot show it on YouTube, but Rick shoots a rope holding the logs, for some reason. I mean, they could have quite easily continued taking them out as they were, or he could have not risked a big old trick shot and cut the rope since it was awkwardly close by anyway, and then amazingly pretty much every walker manages to headbutt the falling wood.
You got something for the pain?
It wouldn't kick in fast enough. We have to do this now.
Could probably still quickly give him something for the pain in general though, no?
But Gregory, he had chance after chance and he wasted them all.
Maggie.
I don't regret what I did, Michonne.
What exactly was Michonne hoping to follow up with here? Maggie is making a lot of sense. The dude straight up tried to shank her randomly, and Michonne never said she was against him being executed, but now all of a sudden she's like anti-death penalty or something, and like, Maggie, come on now. Like what? Where's that coming from?
I put this project first, and you paid the price.
Isn't it more to do with the siren not going off and drawing away the walkers? And not which project was put first? I don't get it.
You hear that? Those are frog mating calls. Must be one wild frog party going on out there.
The bridge, it's not the future. It's a monument to the dead. You're not saving the world, Ray.
I'm always shocked that stupid things are said and no one ever stops and says, what are you talking about, mate? Because Rick is in such a good position to clearly say, I'm doing this for my daughter and her kids one day. People are having children. Those children are benefiting from the booming trade. But no, he's just stood there like the stupid statement has some kind of merit.
One of the saviors. He was missing. Others were getting suspicious. He was found, but he was dead. But it doesn't look like an accident. Someone definitely took him out.
Rick walking on up and taking charge of a situation that I doubt he would have heard much about, given that he only just came within listening distance of it right at the end of the conversation.
Means all of us.
Go shovel that horse whoever killed Justin.
No one jumps in here from either side to stop this fight in spite of only just breaking one up. That's highly unlikely when he's the only one stopping them from coming to blows, and loads of them were literally just stopping one another from starting a brawl.
Hey, stop.
Come on.
It has to be one of the most stupid decisions of all time to very slowly grab some axes and approach a majority of armed people.
Everyone back off! Right now!
Even though these guys were happy to die right there, with one guy welcoming it right there and then, even though he was unarmed, it's Rick on a horse which manages to completely defuse the situation.
You think I'm hiding something?
Bit weird that she saw a plane in the sky and has randomly chosen to keep that little fact to herself.
All the people the kingdom lost. Hilltop, Oceanside. You ever think about what they want?
Daryl be acting as though only one side lost people in their conflict. He's also quite oddly saying they don't get a future like everyone else because they're dead. But they're dead because of that conflict, and many of them died regardless of Rick's actions. Like, for example, the Oceanside male population. So really, what is Daryl even going on about here? Is he saying there never should have been a war, or is he advocating for wiping them all out, including the ones actively following the rules and doing good now? Extremely fortuitous spontaneous weakening of those previously fairly solid boards.
I know who took Rod.
Shame there was a break there, or else Maggie would have been made aware.
I know you're in range. I saw the helicopter last night.
Ah, okay, fair enough. That's why she never mentioned it. One off the top, please!
But if you don't give up that gun, her life ain't gonna...
Real subtle there, Rick!
We gave Rick's Ray a chance. It's time to see Negan.
I think her stating that they gave Rick's way a chance is a pointless thing to say here, because she's decided to kill Negan purely because she wants to, not because a series of events have happened which proved Rick was wrong somehow. It's also probably not great that during that same 24-hour period of time, she said that Rick's way was right and it's the best future for her son, and yet the only thing that changed between then and now is that another of the previous saviors had been murdered by a group of vigilantes.
The hunger strike ends today.
Oh, well, if you say so.
I mean, that's what your boyfriend said, so hard to be that if I'm dead from starvation.
Anyone ever spend any time thinking about how someone is clearly cutting Negan's hair but leaving his beard alone? Bit weird, really, when you think about it.
And you really laying this on me? You're the one that had to go chasing after her.
Conveniently forgetting about how he pushed Rick down there and subsequently fell along with him.
Oceanside. Harrod. I'm saying they got what they deserved. You knew, and you didn't say anything.
Rick acting all shocked at that notion, while he's literally just been pushed into a big old hole by the very same dude who tried to keep him away from home while Maggie went to go and kill his prisoner.
And you keep asking us to have faith in all these other people. Truth is, you don't have enough faith in us.
What are you talking about, bruh? You held back info about vigilantes and then pushed him down into a hole! Just now! What are you on about? They show this first view where about 5 or maybe 6 of them are clearly down there and reaching up at the climbing Rick and Daryl, and yet in 15 seconds time they show the ground after another falls in and it's the same wall they're climbing up, and yet there's now no walkers stood below them.
The river. Take them to the bridge. It ain't ever gonna hold them. They'll get washed out to sea.
No, man, I'm not sacrificing the bridge. I'll find another way.
There ain't no other way, man.
I'm not destroying the bridge.
Would a better idea not be to walk behind the hole and draw them to it, given that it's an absolutely huge hole where you could probably fit like 100 of them down there and it's right near them?
Can you kiss right here?
Hey kids, stop looking at the damn camera, you're breaking the fourth wall! Nathan Bird, Bird Without a Word, Aidan White, PK Fan, Ali 50, Ryan Anderson, Isael Caldera, Chris Harris, Yona Stahl, Manolo Saucedo Munoz, Luis Hernandez, Kim Munt, Jason Davies, Yuki Ali, Manuel Morales, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Blitzclow, Aura Keeper, Steelers, Kimi O, Sentimento, Jaffa 6263, Master Tank, Kevin Nelter, Brendan Krier, Storm 970, Mr. Waffle 64, Kaj Vorzelman, Jordan Samuels, Sean Graves, The Epic Commander, Crimson Shadows, Kyle Farmer, Buzzbomb 3000, Adora Blue,